Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. I finally got access to Doctor Who Flux Episode 6, The Vanquishers. I really was bugging Amazon Video for it because I live here in Cyprus. As I've said many times before, I don't have access to the BBC. Anyway, I saw it yesterday. I think this episode is impossible to review constructively. It's all over the place, everyone. It's very confusing, not because there's some amazing kind of complex story going on. Everything is all over the place, and he tries to kind of construct this episode like a Star Wars movie. So you go, whoosh, next scene, whoosh, next scene, whoosh, the other scene. It doesn't work. It makes it so messy. And what it shows you, this episode, is how creatively bankrupt Chris Chibnall is. Because it shows you how empty Doctor Who Flux is as a concept. The characters, as we've discussed so many times, in all of Chibnall's era, haven't been well developed, haven't been developed in any way, shape or form. And by the end of the episode, we look at Diane, we look at Carvanista, we look at Belle, we look at Vinda, we look at the Grand Serpent. Well, he's not so grand, is he? More like the damp squid. I mean, everyone's going before the finale, who is he, who is he? Doctor Who fans always do this. I never actually thought he was going to be anyone. I knew he was going to be absolutely nothing. And so easily defeated. Now, the concept of having 3 versions of the Doctor in 3 different places in time simply didn't work as a story, in a finale, because let me explain to you why it doesn't work. Because we get to the end of the episode, right? They come in, I forgot what they bloody called now, the 2 villains, and they kill Tech-Tae-Yoon, which is ridiculous if that actually is Tech-Tae-Yoon. For now, we're going to have to assume that it is. I personally don't think when they do that, they kill you, you vanish. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. I mean, he's ripped everything else from RTD. Why not that? Because in the Parting of the Ways, we thought Rose had died on the Weakest Link show, didn't we? On the game station, and she was just went somewhere else. It was a trans mat. Could be a trans mat as well. Interesting. Anyway, so we get 3 versions of the Doctor. As I say, it doesn't work. Because what you really want is the 2 villains and the Doctor exchanging rich, deep dialogue. What happens here, one moment she's with the 2 villains, then she's over there, then she's over here. It doesn't work. But even if you do want to split the Doctor 3 times, it would be better to cast another 2 people to play the Doctor. And I know that's supposed to be her version of the Doctor, but you could have made it even more fun. You could have got a couple of other actors to play the Doctor. And then Doctor could have played off against some other 2 actors. I mean, Jodie does really well with it. I mean, again, Jodie's trying so hard, you can tell. She must know it's a load of shit, but she thinks, I've got to try here. Someone's got to try here, right? Because it's clear that Chris isn't trying. And I don't think that's fair, actually, to say he's not trying. The episodes, his era, looks beautifully. It looks so immersive and beautiful. But the writing isn't as immersive and as beautiful. I mean, we've just seen a June movie. You can have high concepts and it looking beautiful, but you need the characters, the development of those characters. There needs to be an interest in one's story and one's characters. And if it isn't there, Doctor Who Flux, Episode 6, the Series 13 finale, is the result. There's nothing here there's very few things here to actually say, yeah, that bit. Nothing feels earned. And you actually think by the end of it, oh my God, what a mess. For example, a lot of people are asking, is the universe now fixed? Now, I'm going to guess and say yes. But again, it's so clumsily done. You would think that an amateur wrote this episode because it's not mentioned, but you just assume that it's been fixed, that time has fixed the flux. It's not mentioned. I'll rewatch the episode several times to get it in my head. I've only watched it once, but it's not clear whether the universe has been saved or not. But I'm going to put my storytelling head on here and say it looks like the universe is back together. It's not going to be destroyed, and it doesn't look like we need to go on another universe, but the multiverse has now been mentioned in Doctor Who, and I think it's been mentioned for a reason. In about 5 minutes, we're going to read an article about some hints to Jodie Whittaker's Doctor's regeneration as well. So there were some warm moments. There was this moment between Yaz and the Doctor embracing. The Doctor apologises to Yaz for, keeping her out of the loop. The Doctor has always kept his companions when he's been a man, and he's always been a man on television, apart from the Fugitive Doctor and Jodie's Doctor, and the versions we saw in The Timeless Children. So mostly the Doctor's been a man. So when the Doctor was a man, the Doctor was always this selfish character that kept secrets and didn't tell his companions everything, and very rarely did the Doctor ever apologise to the companions, because the Doctor is a flawed, selfish character. He's also selfless. He saved a lot of, planets and things like that, and Earth so many times, but he's also selfish and flawed, as every character should be. If you're not flawed as a fictional character, then no one's ever going to be interested in you. But this Doctor's always apologising, always trying to do everything right and correct, and that's the problem with this Doctor. That's why she doesn't work on most of the levels. But I can see that Jodie is fighting her heart out to kind of, despite the writing, make this Doctor work. And I'm sorry, she doesn't. The era doesn't. As I've already said, it looks beautiful. It's always beautifully directed and acted. And the music since season 12 has been absolutely brilliant. So much better than the mood music we had in season 11. But I'm sorry, this finale for Doctor Who Flux, series 13 of Doctor Who, isn't fit for purpose. It's edited so poorly. Now, clearly, all this has been done this way on purpose. This is what Chibnall wanted. He wanted this Star Wars stylized episode. And that's up to him. All I'm going to say to him is, and as he already knows because he's put a video on YouTube with Jodie Whittaker explaining certain things, but he didn't even explain about what happened to the universe. So he doesn't explain it on his episode or when he's got an opportunity to explain what the fuck's going on. As we said the other day, when you need to explain to your audience in a video on YouTube what happened and what this means and what that means, you're in a lot of trouble. Clearly, the BBC forced him to do that, and poor Jodie was dragged along for the ride, as she has been for 3 series in this terrible era. I think even the hugest Chibnall and Jodie stan can see what people are saying here. It's an absolute mess. It's like going into my niece's bedrooms, seeing all their shit all over the floor. It's a mess. As I keep on saying, it doesn't have the proper context. Everything is so easily solved. The Doctor just steps back so the villains can't get her. I can't believe I've forgotten their bloody names. Oh my God, I can't think of their names, and that's really bugging me now. But we know the villains, right? She moves away and they don't get her. But then they keep on fucking with her and, teasing her with the fob watch. The whole fob watch just gets lost in translation, and in the end it's like an afterthought. She chucks it down the TARDIS. Don't let me have it unless I really ask for it. So she is really going to ask for it. We are going to get a reveal here, and they're going to wait. Now, there's also been some hints about the Master returning. We'll get to that in this Radio Times article I shall read out to you very, very shortly as well. But for me, this episode is a 4 out of 10. And I would say Doctor Who Flux has gone down, because I would have had it at the beginning of it as a 6 or 7 out of 10, solid at least. But it's gone down. I would say this episode, The Vanquishers, is about a 4.5 out of 10. And let's just be kind and give Doctor Who Flux five and a half out of 10, because it's just, it's there, but you ask yourself, why is it there? What is the point of any of it? The flux concept is very weak. We get Carvanista. Again, the doctor's asking Carvanista why he won't just tell her some things about division. And he explains that he has some poison lodged in his head. If he mentions division, he will die, but he does admit that they were friends, they did work together, and she just vanished and left him, like the doctor does to a great many people. So they were friends. Clearly he was friends with the fugitive doctor, and I think that's what he's trying to elaborate on. But if we go away from the finale, because really, as I say, I don't know how anyone can constructively review this episode. It's so all over the place. How do you even break it down? I mean, I'm not very good at recaps anyway, because my memory's so shit. But this episode is literally, it's just impossible to break down and review. There's nothing there, everyone, and there lies the problem. But if we move away from this, I think this, and what's worse about this whole resolution of the Timeless Child, which clearly is going to be part of a two-part finale for Jodie's Doctor. Obviously, the second and third specials, as I keep on predicting, are going to be a two-parter. That's how I see it. I've been wrong once or twice before. I could be wrong again, but we'll have to wait and see. I think kind of they're going to reveal everything about, or most things about the Timeless Child, maybe hold a few things back. It's not worth it, because no one's ever going to touch this storyline again, but there will be a reveal, but it'll be a predictable reveal. I don't know what that reveal is. I still don't believe she's the Timeless Child, but we'll have to wait and see. But if you set up something as intriguing as the Timeless Child arc, and you don't really work off of it, you don't do something, you don't delve into a Fugitive Doctor episode. If you're not going to do a Fugitive Doctor spin-off series, right, which I think would have been awesome, you've set these things up. You have to expand upon them, but Chibnall doesn't expand on his characters or his stories. If you're not going to do a spin-off for the Fugitive Doctor, you at least give her one episode so we can see. Now we may see something. Maybe one of the specials is purely with the Fugitive Doctor. That would be really interesting if the middle one was an episode for the Fugitive Doctor. That would be really, really cool. We'll have to wait and see what happens. So he may still do it, but I think it's very unlikely, don't you? So he hasn't expanded on anything. He spent very little time on the Fugitive Doctor. We didn't see her again. We all expected to see her on the finale, and she was nowhere to be seen, which is absolutely ridiculous. The whole thing was a total waste of time, a waste of Chibnall's time, the BBC's investment and money, everybody's. It just wasn't fit for purpose. Anyway, let's read this article from the Radio Times. Doctor Who finale hints at Jodie Whittaker regeneration. Nothing is forever, no regeneration, no life. By Hugh Fullerton of Radio Times. We still have almost a year before Jodie Whittaker hands in her TARDIS keys, sheds the sonic screwdriver and officially leaves Doctor Who in the 2022 centenary special. But it looks like the 13th Doctor's endgame has already begun. You see, despite managing to stop the Flux, defeat the Sontarans and Ravagers and save the Earth, the Doctor doesn't quite end Series 13 finale, The Vanquishers, on a high. Instead, she's given an omnibus warning from a personification of time, who knows that while she might have triumphed today, her days are still numbered. You can leave here. You can't outrun me. Time, also played by Jodie Whittaker, says, your time is heading to its end. Nothing is forever, no regeneration, no life. Beware of the forces that mass against you and their master. Oh my God. He doesn't even know nuance, does he? I mean, when I saw this bit, I just thought, ooh, the master's back. Ooh, they're hinting for her regeneration. And it's echoes of he will knock 4 times, then you will die. But Chibnall can't even be bothered to wrap it up in an interesting thing like, ooh, what does that mean kind of thing. It's like, your time's ending, no regeneration or life lasts forever, you know, fuck you, doctor, kind of thing. That's all it is. Basically, we've just been told she is going to regenerate sometime next year, and the Master is coming back. As I said yesterday, Doctor Who Flux could certainly have done with the Master. I restore you, Doctor, reunify you, but for how long? Dun dun da! So Hugh's taking the piss there. Sorry, that was meant to stay in my head. Anyway, this is an intriguing warning. Partially, I don't think it is. Partially because it hints at the return of Sacha Dhawan's Master. Even the Doctor picked up the double meaning this time, but also because it's the first on-screen hint that this incarnation of the Doctor could be about to regenerate. Now it seems that this regeneration in recent years presented as kind of death for the Doctor sometimes resisted could be the arc that hangs over Whittaker's incarnation for her next 3 specials. Perhaps we'll keep getting little hints to it and worried looks from the Doctor, all building to the inevitable conclusion next November. Of course, we've seen this kind of thing before during David Tennant's final year as the 10th Doctor, where his exit was teased increasingly over a collection of specials, but done in a so much better way. Over the years, there have been plenty of explicit parallels between the 10th and 13th Doctors. Yes, they tried to copy it and it didn't work. They've copied the 10th Doctor badly. So perhaps it's no surprise that her departure from the series could so closely follow his. Still, it'll be interesting to see how hard the next few adventures lean into Whittaker's exit. Will the New Year's Day special, confirmed to star the Daleks once again, embrace the Doctor's new uncertainty, possibly building to an off-camera reveal for the next Doctor soon after broadcast? That news must be coming soon if the BBC want to keep the secret and release the news on their own terms. Or would Chris Chibnall prefer to keep things simple and accessible this January the 1st, keeping the Doctor's regeneration angst in the background as he weaves a more standalone story? Certainly, it feels like by the time of the spring special, we'll need some kind of acknowledgement of the change that's coming. As ever, the only way to be sure is to wait and see, but this regeneration is coming, and with just 3 on-screen adventures left for the 13th Doctor, it'll probably come faster than we expect. No disrespect, Jodie, but Chris has ruined it. I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you're casting the first female Doctor, you make sure you're making the best fucking thing possible, or you really are exposing yourself as someone who claims you're representing and including. You're not really doing that if you're not interested in creating some of the best Doctor Who stuff in history, which you haven't done, Chris. But basically, those little hints are really, they're so predictable. I don't think we're going to see anything that shocks us, anything with the timeless child reveal, or any of this, or the potential regeneration. If it is a regeneration, we really don't know what's going on here. This could be the end, the final story for the Doctor we've known and loved since 1963. And I've spoken about my theory about the human meta-crisis Doctor and David Tennant returning. It doesn't mean this is going to happen, but Russell T Davies is playing it really coy. A lot of media outlets are teasing an inclusive piece of casting. I think Russell is doing this on purpose. He's leading everyone down the wrong lane, and I think people are going to be surprised when the actual Doctor is actually announced. And as Hugh Fullerton of the Radio Times said, surely that's got to happen very soon. This has been the Doctor Who Daily. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. Like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss this perfection, and I'll see you again soon for even more Doctor Who Daily. Until then, goodbye.